Today we are discussing chapter 16, entitled The Divine and Demoniac Natures, and text is 19. Tanaham dvishata kruran samsareshu naradaman Kshipyamajasramashubhan Asurishveva yonishu. So now we are reading word for word and translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-yoga Srila Prabhupada, and a purport also by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. Tan, those. Aham, I. Dvishtaha, envious. Kruran, mischievous. Samsareshu, in the ocean of material existence. Naradaman, the lowest of mankind. Kshipami, I put. Ajasram, forever. Ashubhan, inauspicious. Asurishu, demoniac. Eva, certainly. Yonishu, in the wombs. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. You can repeat phrase after phrases. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. In this verse it is clearly indicated that the placing of a particular individual soul in a particular body is the prerogative of the Supreme Will. The demoniac person may not agree to accept the supremacy of the Lord, and it is a fact that he may act according to his own whims, but his next birth will depend upon the decision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and not on himself. In this Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, it is stated that an individual soul, after his death, is put in the womb of a mother, where he gets a particular type of body under the supervision of the superior power. Therefore, in the material existence, we find so many species of life, animals, insects, men, and so on. All are arranged by the superior power. They are not accidental. As for the demoniac, it is clearly said here that they are perpetually put into the wombs of demons, and thus they continue to be envious, the lowest of mankind. Such demoniac species of men are held to be always full of lust, always violent and hateful, and always unclean. The many kinds of hunters in the jungle are considered to belong to the demoniac species of life. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Staptitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitan Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, I'll read the verse again. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. So, the chapter 16 comes after 15, where the banyan tree was explained. And the banyan tree, as we all know, it has it in a material world, has its roots up and branches down. And then there's a question arises where such a tree, where you can see a tree like that upside down. So it's very easy to find such a tree. Actually, if we look in a reflection in a reservoir of water. So therefore, this material world is like a reflection of the spiritual world. And that banyan tree is reflected here, with the roots up and branches down. So then banyan tree, as we all see here in India, grows and it shoots roots from its branches, and then the root reaches the ground, then it becomes another trunk. So these roots, these additional roots, are like pious and impious activities, which causes person to get birth in a pious or impious atmosphere and develop pious or impious qualities, or divine or demoniac qualities, how it's said here in Bhagavad-Gita. So we have heard before in the beginning of chapter 16 that we are reading here, that what are all these divine qualities like fearlessness, truthfulness, freedom of anger, forgiveness, cleanliness, self-control, so many qualities. So they are called divine, and it's the person who has these qualities is transcendental. These are qualities of mode of goodness, but because a mode of goodness is it's a step towards transcendence, the person who has these qualities is also called transcendental. So it is said that person who is born in a certain time and circumstances has already these qualities within him. And the demoniac qualities are also with the person by birth. And what is actually significance of these divine qualities? Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, he says that the qualities mentioned herein are explained as transcendental qualities meant for making a person progress in spiritual understanding so that he can get liberated from the material world. So these qualities, divine qualities, the actual real characteristic of these qualities is that they lead us towards liberation. And the demoniac qualities lead person towards bondage. So in that way we can say that what leads towards liberation is divine. And even something may appear externally divine, but if that doesn't lead to liberation, it's not divine. If there's something leads to bondage to this material world, even if it externally may appear something good, if that does not lead to liberation, it's actually demoniac. So here we can read in Bhagavad-Gita that person is born already with these qualities. So then we may question, but what if I am not born with these qualities? Where is my hope? Then Krishna will cast me perpetually in the ocean of material existence, in various demoniac species of life? Is that what will happen to me? Because when we read any kind of scripture, we also need to put us in that lowest position. Then we have more chance to progress. Because if we put ourselves in an exalted position, then there is no space for progress anymore. The same like we know the pastime of Rama and Sita, and Ravana stole Sita. So generally we try to think, we are on Rama's side and this Ravana stole Sita. But actually as a humble devotees we should think how much of Ravana is in my nature and how much actually I'm desiring to steal Sita. Meaning how much I'm desiring to enjoy this Lord's energy without the Lord. So then with such mentality we can actually progress, because when we realize our lowly state, then humility comes. And humility bears the tolerance. And the humility and tolerance are the key to always chant the holy name. And the holy name, this is the key of the elevating ourselves in spiritually, in a spiritual life. So then we have put ourselves in that situation that we have so many qualities of demoniac nature. Arrogance, impudent. We may identify some of these with us. Pride, anger, harshness and ignorance. So what is the destiny of person with these qualities? Krishna very boldly says, that's what I do with them. I do with these type of people like that. I cast them in ocean of material existence into various demoniac species of life. And next he said, and that's repeated birth amongst, they attain the repeated birth amongst these kind of species. And these people can never approach me. That's what Krishna is saying. So then we could think, okay, now I have all these qualities, but maybe next time I will be born in good qualities. But Krishna says, no, it's you attain repeated birth with all these abominable type of existence, and you cannot ever approach me. So then Krishna is a reservoir of all good qualities. So by association with Krishna, the person also becomes the reservoir of good qualities. Everything happens by association. We know by experience, most probably, as everyone may make some mistake, if we take some white cloth, white dhoti or white any kind of piece of cloth, and somehow we wash it together with red cloth, what happens? What happens to the white cloth? Gets red spots or gets reddish. So what did white cloth do? Associated with red cloth. So just by that being together for a little while with the red cloth, also started to become red. Yeah? What happens to iron when we put in a fire? Iron attains all the qualities of the fire. So that should not be a secret to us. Whatever we associate with, that we attain. So if Krishna is a reservoir of all good qualities, and we associate with Krishna, then we also develop all good qualities. So this is this wonderful aspect of bhakti-yoga, that nothing is by birth. We may still think in our heart, oh, this family is good birth, or this is good birth, that is not good birth, this birth or that birth. But actually, we should always understand nothing is by birth. The cloth was born white, but by association of red cloth, it became reddish. Of course, the white cloth has very good chance to associate with all other white cloth, because usually we try to segregate when we wash. But if the association is not there, even a white cloth can lose its whiteness. So that's why it's nothing by birth. Everything is by guna and karma, by our qualities and our activities. That's what determines our nature, our whole being. So, if we associate with Krishna, the reservoir of all good qualities, then some reflection comes to us, and actually Jiva itself has already all the good qualities. So by association of with Krishna, the Jiva is awakened to its spiritual nature fully, more and more. So then next question, how do we associate with Krishna? Because if I have all these demoniac qualities and Krishna says you can never approach me, how do I associate with Krishna? We can ask this question. Okay, it's a good idea, associate with Krishna and everything will be good. But what to do? Krishna, although he speaks such a direct and bold words, by nature he is not mean. He's very soft-hearted. So although Shastra may say many rules and many conditions, but there is always some concession. Because what is the real purpose of all this world, material world? The Jiva who has come here can also go out of here. So there are always some hints and some ways of doing it. So, and especially Mahaprabhu has come and has come here to actually help these conditioned souls to very swiftly attain the desired perfection, which is pure devotional service and returning to Krishna. So I wanted to explain, to give an example of very simple way how one can associate with Krishna. As we know that in the morning, Krishna goes to forest, and what he's doing? With the cows. He's tending the cows. And he spends whole day like that in the forest. Sometimes he plays with the boys, sometimes he's with cows, then he's resting, then he's eating. But some of the times, he escapes. And he also meets Radharani, because that's what's in his heart, that's what's in his mind. And as he meets the ladies, the girls, the gopis, they have beautiful pastimes in Vrindavan forest. Vrinda Devi has arranged so many beautiful things. All seasons have come to these forests to exhibit the different aspects of beauty of a specific season, that Radharani and Krishna can feel pleasure and enjoy. But then, at certain point of a day, they also have to separate again. Because time has passed, some time has passed, and a cowherd boy start wondering what happened to Krishna. Yashoda Mai is thinking when he is going to come home. And even Jatila is thinking Radharani went to perform Surya Puja, why she is so much delaying. So to pacify all the devotees, they have to separate. And Krishna goes and again plays with cowherd boys and returns to Nandagram for the pleasure of Yashoda Mai and Nanda Maharaj. And Radharani returns to her home. But for Radharani, it's a little bit different situation. Krishna is experiencing the cuddles, embraces of Yashoda. She's feeding him with nice eatables. And even before going home on the road, when they walk with the cowherd boys and cows, everything is so jolly and full of association. But Radharani, as soon as she is in separation from Krishna, she experiences high fever of that separation. And all her associates, all her other gopis, they try to somehow soothe her. They try to cool her down. They put her the chandan, the sandalwood paste on her body, full body, and it all just gets dry out of that fire of Radharani's body and falls down. They put camphor, it doesn't work. They decide to make her bed of the leaves of lotus flowers and put it with some petals, that this bed is cool, that when Radharani will lay down, she will get cooler, she will feel more cool. But as soon as she lays down on that bed, from the heat of her body, all the flower petals dry up. So nothing has helped, and everybody is full of sorrow because they don't know how they can pacify Radharani. So then one young girl arrives from Nandagram and he says, Yashodamai is asking some sweets for Krishna because she wants to feed him, and he wants Radha to cook, to make some sweets. And as soon as Radharani hears that, she is immediately in the kitchen, and in front of blazing flames of cooking fire, all her fever goes down. Why is that? What is the secret? Because she engaged in devotional service. So it means that if for Radharani, who is the greatest devotee, it's not a secret that nobody can compare with her. If just by devotional service, by doing service for Krishna, she can experience her presence, that her fire of separation goes away, then we can for sure conclude that devotional service, Krishna is present there. When we perform devotional service, then we directly associate with Krishna. So this is an example, short pastime of Radharani, that devotional service is a savior from these demoniac species of life, because by performing it, we actually associate directly with Krishna. And because Krishna is a reservoir of all good qualities, then we develop our spiritual nature, and our good qualities also manifest. Because all these divine qualities or demoniac qualities, that belongs only to the body and mind. There is not one single jiva in creation that has demoniac qualities. Every jiva has only divine qualities, because jiva is divine. The soul is divine. So it means that we are actually divine, and all these qualities are natural for us. And every other quality that's listed amongst demoniac is unnatural. So it means that we are not entering in some kind of new field that is not really meant for us. We are actually entering in the field where we belong to. So that's why this bhakti-yoga, especially the chanting of the holy name, offers opportunity of rapidly clearing away these all unwanted things. Only what we have to do, we have to give ourselves. This is a problem. We have to give ourselves. How many hours we have in a day? 24. So how many hours we should give for devotional service and for Krishna? 24. So someone said, but what about sleeping? So when the person performs only devotional activities, then that sleep also becomes a devotional activity. Because this is to recharge the body. Because really, what do we perform devotional activities with? We are not performing this with a body. We are not performing this with a mind. It is our spiritual body that engages in its natural activity of serving Krishna. And in this medium of material world, the spiritual body is using these material senses to operate. Like we use a car to come from home to temple, so sometimes we have to stop to fill the petrol. So that's why sometimes this machine, this body, needs a little break to recover from the tiredness. But actually, who performs the devotional service is the spiritual body. And in this material world, everything comes through growth. Even a great Vaishnava saints are all eternal associates in the spiritual world. So they have to assume these bodies that suit for this realm. And they operate in those bodies. And they do service with those bodies. So then, when this gross body is so much has so much associated with this divine energy of devotional service, Krishna, the chanting of the holy name, then that materiality of this gross body actually almost like it gets diluted. So that's why great saints are considered, even in this body, is considered spiritual. So if just by having these qualities already it's considered transcendental and divine, what to speak if that's so much saturated? So naturally it will be divine and transcendental. So when we hear these things, we should not think that it is something only for them or just for somebody. It is for everybody, because everybody is a soul. There is not one single person in this room who is not a soul. There is not one single entity in Vrindavan who is not a soul. There is not one single entity in the world, in the whole universe, who is not a soul. So actually none of us are these bodies. But realization will come by practicing devotional service and the chanting of the holy name. That's why in 9th chapter it is said that devotional service gives realization by direct perception in the 9.2. So that's why we should understand that this devotional service should be performed constantly. And sometimes we may hear such a conclusions that only if you go on the altar, that's devotional service, only if you dress the deity or perform arti. But devotional service is everything what is pleasing to Krishna. So then we of course need to know what's pleasing to Krishna, because we may imagine that something is pleasing to Krishna. So there we have our acharyas and our guru and Srila Prabhupada for guidelines. So we have to very scrutinizingly study the scriptures and become purified by that siddhanta. And we have to have very strict sadhana to be purified also by sadhana. So then, even though in the very beginning, or even not in the beginning, anytime we may have some crooked mentality, we may do something which we like and say, oh no, actually it is for Krishna and Krishna really likes it. So then when we perform the sadhana properly and study the scriptures scrutinizingly, then we get purified and the mentality will change. So that's a secret. So, but we still need to understand that there are many obstacles, because we know we need to have sadhana, we need to have service, but obstacles are there. And obstacles can come from this demoniac nature and demoniac qualities, but it can come also from pious nature and pious qualities. Also may come obstacles. Obstacles, what obstacles? The obstacles that does not allow us to dive in that ocean of devotional service, does not allow us to dive in the ocean of Harinam and Sankirtan. So someone said, what do you mean piety is not allowing us? Here we just read that pious qualities are those that gives us liberation, means those which facilitate the devotional life. But it is described by our acharyas that there can be anarthas that arise from the pious birth and pious activities. And these pious things also may not allow us to fully embrace the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, still maybe not clear. How? Let's look at some examples. pious is what? Pious is dutiful. We are dutiful. We may be born in a high aristocratic family, or we may be born, we may be very intelligent. So all these things, what Kunti Devi says about them, they are obstacles. The education, the beauty, the high birth, the wealth, all these things we acquire because of some very good pious credits, pious activities. But actually, it is obstacle. Prabhupada said in one of his classes that if we see someone who is richer than us, we have to offer him a respect, because in some past life he has performed some better pious activities than us. That's why he got more money than us. So he is superior. But here we see that this money is an obstacle. Of course, it depends on mentality and everyone is different, but now we talk about the neutral fact from the absolute point of view that these things are obstacles. So there was an example of Prabhupada's disciple who was born in a very high class, in Western world, in a high class family, in a rich family. So they had some culture of behavior. And then he was also spiritually inclined, so he was attracted to the philosophy of Krishna consciousness and some other aspects. But when he saw that all these people are dressed in bed sheets and they walk on a street and jingling some bells and jump without sense and sing the same thing over and over again, he said, I'm sorry, you won't get me into that. I can read a book, but I won't do that. So why? Because he's born in such a high family, he cannot imagine. They have some basket for donations, to ask people, to harass people, to collect money. This is something beyond the person who is born in aristocratic and rich family. So they have to get purified from that anartha, and then only they can fully embrace devotional service. Or somebody is Shri. Shri means beauty, but not just that, also body welfare. So that my body is healthy and everything I eat is healthy. And then I come to the temple for Sunday feast and they serve me all these pakoras and ghee, everything is fried. Where are all the steamed vegetables and sprouts? So this is also anartha. You are not appreciating prasadam and devotional service. So all these things are obstacles. And then another could be obstacle from pious activities, that so much sense gratification is available and so much attachment to that sense gratification. So we can practice, we can give some donation, we can sponsor abhishek, we can sponsor feast, but fully embrace Mahaprabhu, Sankirtan movement, something does not allow. So these can be obstacles from that side. You can sit. Chair you can take. And so these can be obstacles from pious activity, arisen from pious activities that does not allow one to embrace devotional service 100%. So then of course there are also obstacles from demoniac side, from impious activities, which is more maybe obvious. The sinful activities, sinful inclinations, all these qualities that was described here, the anger, the arrogance, the lust. Person can be so much lusty that they cannot just follow the principles of Vaishnava, or they can be angry, they make offenses. But even if that person with all these qualities surrenders fully, realizing his lowly position, then his divine qualities will develop. So then there will be obstacles arising from bhakti itself. So that's very confusing. If we practice bhakti to advance, and then from that same practice also obstacles come. So that also is explained, that one may practice bhakti yoga, devotional service, engaged very nicely, enthusiastically, eagerness is there, sincerity is there, all sadhana is perfect, chanting grounds very nicely and attentively. So naturally, some purification is coming, and the person is developing all the good qualities. And he becomes effulgent. Everyone notices how this person has advanced. So what we do when we see advanced devotee? We want their association, and we approach them with folded hands and we ask, please, I'm seeing you are so pure. Allow me to be in your association. And the person who was chanting so nicely and he was engaging in devotional service, he nicely, I have become so pure now. Look, everybody is coming to me. I should bestow upon them some mercy, because I have practiced my sadhana so rigidly. So now results are here. Let the whole world see what can one attain by sadhana like me. So that is anartha arising from bhakti itself. It can go also away very easily if person is continuing with that same practice and is not committing offenses. So these just are some things, some external things, the pious obstacles or demoniac obstacles or obstacles from bhakti. These are just some small things, some external things. What happens through anartha nivritti, and after anartha nivritti, they are gone. Majority of them are gone. Then another batch will go till we reach bhava, and then it's very little remaining. It is described that in bhava state, the anarthas are completely destroyed, but only in prema they are absolutely destroyed. So what is the difference? Absolutely, completely, it seems like it's the same. But example is given that what means completely? How the anarthas are destroyed? The gross things all are gone. But something little is there. It's like when you take the cloth and you rip it, but you take it all the threads out, and then cloth is not there anymore, but the threads still remain. You cannot put cloth back even anymore, but you can see the threads. So that means this is not fully absolutely destroyed. Or it's said like there is a village and it got burned down. So village is not there anymore. The anartha is not there anymore, but you can still see the ruins. So but then when it's all completely destroyed and his heart is pure and soft as butter, then the love of God comes. So therefore we need to see that all these things are just externals and they don't influence, they are not real impediments to devotional service. But what is real impediment to devotional service are offenses. There are so many types of offenses. Some are more serious and some are not so serious. But nevertheless, all of them should be avoided, especially nama aparad, the offenses against the holy name. So that's a whole another huge topic. What are the offenses, how they should be avoided. And the mad elephant offense is to criticize the Vaishnava. And it is many ways of how to avoid it, but the best way, what is the best way to avoid the Vaishnava criticism? To praise the Vaishnava. This is the best way. And actually also the only way. To praise the Vaishnava. Then we can avoid. So therefore we need to be very careful to engage in devotional service, and we need to evaluate, are these qualities that I think divine are actually divine? Because really what it means divine, as it was said, it leads to liberation. So we need to be very careful, because sometimes even it may really appear. Like I wanted to give also one example that really appears something good, but if we analyze, it's not so good. So now I don't know much how things go around outside here, our Krishna Balaram temple, but and especially in India, I don't know, but some time ago, and I'm hearing from sometimes devotees that in the Western countries very much famous is becoming vegan, to be vegan. Vegan means that you don't take milk, any kind of milk product. Vegan, yeah. So I don't know, in India it's also coming up or not, I don't know. Not so much, that's more Western country. So, and many devotees also take up that practice. And the motivation is that we don't want to be part of slaughtering the cows, because that same milk industry and slaughtering industry are joined. Yeah, healthier, yes, but mainly would be because of slaughter. So then we start thinking, so how many of people on a scale of the whole planet became vegan? Maybe 10,000, maybe 9,000, maybe 8,000, and then how many others remain as they are? So just because such a small portion became vegan, they will not close the slaughterhouse. It will still remain. Only they have very nice industry of selling these vegan things for triple price. So then it is very beneficial, very good. Vegans, good. You just buy all these things which is so expensive unnecessarily. So then, as a Vaishnava, we need to apply the Vaishnava philosophy. Who is a cow? Is a cow or is a cow a jiva? The cow is jiva. So now we discussed at length devotional service. What is the savior of jiva in this material world? Is devotional service. So if the cow is killed in a slaughterhouse, and just because someone became vegan, the slaughterhouse still won't close, what is the benefit? There's no benefit. But if the devotee very mercifully takes milk of that cow, who will be slaughtered anyhow, and offers to Krishna, then that jiva becomes very much benefited. She is engaged in devotional service, because we cannot save them. This is Kali Yuga's progress. The slaughterhouse is there. I don't know these political things, but someone said that some Indian government wanted to stop some slaughterhouse, but then the people protest, because some are so attached to doing it. So it's not possible to close. But we can help the cow by engaging her product of suffering in Krishna's service. So in that way, one second, after. Yeah, I will tell. So this is for the cow, because we want to save the cow. That was the point. We want to save the cow. So what is the real saving of the cow is to engage the cow in devotional service. And then these other aspects of health and this and that, it's I would say secondary, because we follow a different type of diet. Like Prabhupada said, we are milk drinkers and other things. But mainly I wanted to discuss this devotional aspect, and we may think that we are doing something good, but actually we can say that this veganism is a Kali's trick to continue not to save the cow. Because when we reject that milk, we don't engage her in devotional service, so she's just killed like that. And plus, we also don't develop these finer tissues of brain that comes from milk. So I don't want to go too much into this topic. I just wanted to give some example how something good, if we analyze, is actually not 100% good, therefore not so much divine and not leading to liberation. So that's why with all our enthusiasm, with all our hearts and force, we have to engage in bhakti yoga. Tivrena bhakti yogena. This bhakti yoga should not just be once a week. This devotional service should not just be once a day. It should be constant and it should be fierce. So then this fierceful devotional service will work like a sun. What sun is doing with a filthy place when people pass urine? It purifies, but it doesn't get contaminated. So the Krishna is the same, devotional service is the same. It will purify everything without getting contaminated. So all of our business is to engage in fierce devotional service. Aihatuki apratihata, without interruption. We can have favorable devotional service, but only once a week. No, uninterrupted. So if we do favorable devotional service uninterrupted, then there should be not one single doubt that we will reap the right result that been actually designed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and given to the world by Acharyas, including His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. I'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, you are welcome to express yourself. I think this is a mic. I don't know how is the system here. The mic? Who can give the mic? This is the mic. She wanted, Prabhuji, Haribol, there was a question, Mataji. In the Western countries.
Yeah. So they are very well aware that Krishna loves butter and Krishna loves milk and they are supposed to offer it and they are supposed to have that.
Yeah. But somehow some mistake happened. Anything else? Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
As we are associating with the devotees, we are sitting here, it's in Bhagavad-Gita, what Krishna has given to Arjuna and this divine and demonic benefits. So when we are sitting with the devotees, that means we are in divine benefits. But sitting in the, so we feel that we are in divine people. But our conscious and mind is running in a demonic way. So how that can be controlled?
So you need to sit more. You need to sit more.
Yeah, we sit more and more every day, but the mind still have that demonic mentality. From our childhood we have done so many nonsense, so it is going in that way. It cannot be stopped. So what is the thing that we will, how we can stop that?
Yeah, so if you, I think I have repeated that several times. If we are diseased, we take medicine. And if we are still not cured, we have to take stronger medicine. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells what is the medicine. And it is Harinam, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we need to always chant. 16 rounds is just a minimum. 16 rounds is just to become a good human. It is, we need to follow 4 regulative principles to be in mode of goodness. Not even that, not to be sinful. The 4 regs are just for us not to be sinful. 4 regulative principles are no illicit sex, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication. And for us to be able to do it, we need to chant the holy name. But then if we want to progress more, We have to chant more. And we have to start to chant anyhow. But we have to be determined at one point to chant with full attention. We should not stop chanting just because we cannot be attentive. We should chant anyhow. But then we have to desire when this moment will come that I can chant attentively. Because Krishna, it is said, Nija Sarva Shaktis. Nija is personal. So he is person. So all this personal Shakti he has invested in a holy name. So we may think I'm chanting 30 years, I'm chanting 40 years, and still my mind is going. But then we need to improve the quality of our chanting also. And quantity and quality. For example, I am chanting 16 rounds. But how many rounds are actually rounds out of these 16? Maybe when I chant 60 rounds, only 4 rounds, good rounds I have chanted. So, but if I chant 64 rounds, so then from these 64, maybe 16 are good. But if I want to chant 64 rounds, then I have to chant double. So then maybe 64 will be good. So it's not just because I sat in the morning time, I chanted 16 rounds, and nothing is happening. We have to also follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Raising up in the morning, Guru Puja, Mangalarti. We have to do all these things. Otherwise, it is Guru Avagya. Another of offenses of the holy name. Everything, keeping material attachments. Of course, as long as the body is there, some maintenance has to be there. But we have to deliberately make some commitments. And this commitment is not just to torture us. This commitment in bhakti is an offering to Krishna. It is very sweet. Aparads. Yeah, that's what I said. Offense. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.